Hi there! Welcome back to Grave New World, our Buffy the Vampire Slayer TTRPG. My name is Chris, aka Wayward Knight. I'm your director for tonight, and I have all of my lovely friends and players gathered around me today. Let's introduce who they are. I'm gonna start with the next person that I can see on Zoom. It's Bison.
Hey, it's me. I am here 3 nights a week. I am Bison_Stonefist. I spend far too much time on the Discord. Um, but yeah, I'm on Tuesdays. I run our Cyberpunk Red campaign. We've been on hiatus because I've been away. Hopefully, I'll remember what's going on in the game well enough that we'll have a session tomorrow. Anyways, on Thursdays I play Encino. I'm going to make this party a bunch of heroes, whether they like it or not. Dragonborn Ranger Paladin in our D&D 5e campaign, Fool's Gold, and I'm getting death flared by my Brohim Backhouse, so we'll go with him next.
What about your character for this game?
Oh shit. Yeah, tonight I'm Jack. I apparently don't know that I'm here, Aldridge. Um
I've been that drunk before. All right, well, folks, I am Bat Kyle. I'm probably not as friendly or as in your neighborhood as you think, but I'm around. Mondays, you can find me playing, Jacob King, everybody's favorite half demon stoner oracle who's anxiously awaiting his first date with somebody. Uh, really anxiously. On Thursdays, you can find me playing Badges Newt, our resident dad mom energy brain with a heartbeat that just never drops under 200. It feels like at this point, and he is ending up as the hero of everything with the crew, and he is really not happy about it. But he can't seem to
be a god.
No, no, I'm not listening to and/or answering any prayers. Other than that, you can't really find me anywhere else because I don't like social media. And let's go over to Luna.
Hello, I am Luna, and yes, my hair is massive today because it's hot and rainy. But I play May Lipinski, our witch of Grave New World, who also is awaiting a long-awaited date with her favorite guy. And then on Saturdays, I play in our rapscallion game, Thirsty Seas, as Jacques Crusoe, a man who's on the hunt, not only for his wife, but for literally anyone who wants to get into his pants. But speaking of, let's go to one of my Thirsty Sea companions, Glory.
I don't remember if my character has gotten into Jacques' pants yet. But I'm Gloriosa, and I'm here several nights a week. Tonight I'm playing Estia, who is a ghost and who is also here. And then I play other nights. I'm here. That's it. That's all I got right now. Hey, Manna, what you do?
I was like, well, to pick up where Gloria left off, I do know for a fact if my character has gotten into Jacques' pants or not. But if you want to find that out, you should tune into our Rapscallion game on Saturdays. It's a really good time. Gloria and I are all there on Saturdays. I play Silent Micken. Pleasure to meet you. But tonight, on Mondays, I play Ash Lexington, our maybe not so reluctant Slayer anymore. Definitely has grown a long way since the beginning. Who is also weirdly anxiously awaiting the date between her two best friends. So that's a really fun time. And otherwise, I am in our Discord, which Glory linked already. And other than that, my social media presence is pretty akin to Bat Kyle's. So that's pretty much where you can find me. And otherwise, that's it. Back to you, Director Chris.
Hey, that's me. There's my links. All my internet shit's there. I have a podcast. It's really fun. It's about characters, and I have art. You can buy it. It's really fun. Anyway, let's get started. Sorry, chat popped up. With the recap, that's what we do. That's what we do. After Estia left, the gang was left to process what just happened. The Scoobs, minus Julian, convened at Ye's apartment to keep each other company. Ye called Eugenie, Estia's aunt and a slayer as well, to tell her the news of Estia's return. Eugenie came to Ye's apartment almost immediately, having neglected to tell anyone that she had stayed in Cleveland. Oops. When they told her what had transpired, she thought it was a sick joke and became angry and hurt, storming off. After she left, the gang updated Estia on the current events as well as officially introducing her to May. Jesus, computer, I don't care. Sorry. Blocked my notes, so I had to. After lots of discussion, they finally turned in for the night. The next day, Ash was notified bright and early of the reopening of their smoothie shop.
Ash got their smoothies.
And those digits.
And they woke everybody else up to celebrate the good news. Ash and Estia went to fetch everyone smoothies while May and Ye slept in. Ash saw Malcolm, their smoothie shop, crush for the first time in a month. Ash returned with the smoothies and then failed miserably to notice Malcolm's phone number written on their cup. Estia got
They're
transported.
there for the smoothies.
Meanwhile, Estia got transported into Allison's domain, and the two discussed Estia's new purpose among the Scoobies. She was returned to the material realm, and then the scene ended with a smoothie cuddle pile, which, okay. So it's still morning, because you guys are awake with smoothies.
Didn't we determine we were gonna head to go see this Rupert Giles after Estia did her best to confirm that he was there?
Well, it's
Yes.
Tuesday.
Tuesday's
May's like,
coming.
May's like, I have class. I already missed like a month.
All right, so I guess we're gonna plan a weekend trip then.
You gotta learn how to just like talk to your professors. Maybe lie to them a little. It goes so much better. C's get degrees. Smoothie
No.
slip.
Maybe the C's are why you didn't see that number.
Ha 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 ha. You're so
Ah.
funny.
I am very funny.
Yay! Great high five to May. Smack.
Take 2 damage. No, I'm kidding.
Ow! Fuck!
That's why you just kind of like moved it slowly and let her do the impact. You've been through this before. You only put a kid in a cast once before you're like,
Maybe
That's
that's
a story
dial
for
back
another
there,
time.
big shoots.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Jack, what we had decided last session was that you were at the shop for most of the time, and then you came home a little tipsy and went straight to your room. So you have woken up not hungover, but just a little bit and you do have work today, and the rest of you have school, except I guess Estia.
Estia can audit classes. It's fine.
That's
But
fair.
anyway,
But
Why
Yeah,
would
just
she do
Jesus.
that?
Yay is going to be like, there's a Gatorade in the fridge there, Chief.
Right on. Morning.
Morning.
He looks to Ash and Estia or May. Morning. Morning.
Morning. May's
Morning.
just in a big, like, yay shirt, and that's it.
Ash will
Back
go
to
over to
the
the
ground.
fridge.
No. It's like
Martini!
maybe a little bit above her knees.
Yeah. Ash will go over to the fridge, pull out a smoothie, and go and hand it to Jack. Like, I got you one in case you wanted to. Smoothie shop's open.
I noticed. Okay then.
All right, don't pick up any shifts for this weekend. We're gonna make the trip out to see this Giles guy.
Okay, I should get the Trans Am finished by then.
Okay.
So,
He's still
unless
like
anyone
his
has,
eyes are like half open this entire time.
it's like 6:30 in the morning. It's
Yeah.
like that's valid. Because Ash woke everyone up like at the ass crack of dawn for these smoothies.
I mean, listen, this is actually like May was actually for once disturbed. Like usually she's awake before everyone to make the bagels, but it's like with the cuddle pile apparently knocked her ass out.
Hey, cuddle piles will do that. Don't sleep on the power of a good cuddle puddle.
Yeah.
Yep. He's gonna go and
Does anyone?
turn on the
Oh.
dryer a little bit just to heat May's clothes up. They should be all clean by now. But you know, there's something about getting into clean, warm clothes that's just extra good. Unless you live in
Valid.
Arizona in the summer.
Is there anything you guys want to do the rest of the week before we get to the weekend?
So at some point, Estia is gonna go and say hi to Jack and be like, "So what's your story?"
Yeah. I can just see Estia just popping her head out of the
Out of the
The end.
engine or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's your story?
First of all, hi. I would tell you to knock next time, but you can just never mind. Yeah, my story. I was sent here by the government, shrugs shoulders, to keep an eye on the Hellmouth and try and figure out exactly who killed you.
Okay, but you figured that out. And
Mhm.
then
I lost my job.
harsh.
Yep. Kind of earned, but
What'd you do?
lied. Got lied to.
Government.
Yeah, government, but certain things you don't lie about. And then I punched my brother-in-law in the face.
Your brother?
In-law.
In-law.
Former, I guess.
Do you literally have your name is Jack? Do you literally was your wife literally named Diane?
Yep.
Literally, it was Jack and Diane.
Mm-hmm. Walk down the aisle of that song.
Well, I'm sorry.
There was
that
a lot of whiskey involved.
that tracks. I mean, if I could like go yank her and I would.
Fair.
Because I saw like you looked like somebody canceled Christmas when somebody told you no about her.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
When Allison? Alice? Allie? Elena?
He's just like, he stops you like,
When you asked
weird angel lady or the bitch? Because there's Alice and there's Allison.
Both is good.
the one that you asked about your wife that was talking about like that
Yeah.
the powers that be wanted me back and all of that stuff.
Weird
like,
angel lady.
yeah. When you asked her and she said, sorry, no can do, you looked like somebody canceled Christmas. So
I'm indirectly the reason my wife died, and I watched her bleed out in front of me. So
that's awful.
yeah, I think the only two people that could probably relate are you and Yay.
I'm not sure that I can actually relate all that much, but
Oh, great. Vampires don't work like that. That's just.
I am
Never
not
mind.
a vampire.
I know you're not. You can clearly phase through engine blocks.
I'm just saying, like, there's no Ghost of Vampire Past. Like, there's no. I'm not a vampire. There's no part of me that's a vampire, and that didn't happen to me. It happened to my body, but I was gone by the time it did.
That's unnerving.
Well, I mean, you don't stay like so
guess.
there's the whole well, there's the dying part first, and that I was there for, and that kind of sucked. I think it's not super clear, but I just know that there was that part first, and then I was gone, and somebody else was driving my corpse.
I wonder if that was like that for her. Never mind. I gotta get this engine done by the weekend.
She's just gonna slowly sink back down into the engine block with this look on her face, like, I fucked up. Oh, I fucked up. She's not saying that out loud, it's just the facial expression. I fucked up.
Jack takes a couple seconds, turns, goes to the radio and turns it up. Switches it to an oldies rock station.
Yeah, but those oldies rock stations actually play like not oldies because they can't be oldies because they were the songs from when I was 20 and those can't be oldies yet.
I'm having that conversation with myself right now, and that's above board. Because yeah, oldies. I'm thinking, yeah, 80s. No, they play Nickelback now.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly.
And Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Limp Biscuit's on there now too.
Don't.
Anywho.
BRB, while our entire cast has a crisis, guys.
Not I.
Anyway,
And
I am
Ye's just
acquainted
gonna
with
do
the
that.
old magic.
Ye's just gonna do what we talked about earlier over the week. She's gonna make sure there's time for that.
you got it, dude. It is. um, it is now the weekend, and
Kevin, what the hell?
sorry.
I
Not
saw-
in the
You
corner
can't
of
be
my eye.
distracting us like that.
Yeah. I saw him start, breaking it down, and all I could hear, even though there was no music, was "It's Friday, Friday."
Gotta get
Yes.
down on Friday. Okay.
One of
So-
those
But the
times I
death
wish we
metal
had a
version.
Kevin cam.
Because that's awesome.
Okay.
Metal version.
So the week goes by, and
It's Friday. It's Friday.
you guys all you make it to the weekend. Your classes are on hiatus because that's what a weekend is. How have you decided to get where you need to go?
Oh, we can probably fit the whole crew in the Yaymobile. Unless
What is the Yaymobile? Like, what kind of car?
the Yaymobile, it's a late model Taurus, Ford Taurus.
Are you sure it's not a VW bus? Because it would have to be a VW bus, honestly, for Yay.
You know what? It is now a VW bus. The Yaymobile is a lovingly cared for and restored, very clean, and not actually all that hippie-ish VW bus.
Oh,
I'll
been
allow
May,
it.
May will
sanitized.
change that. It'll be so hippie. She drives a bright sunshine yellow like moped. Like it's gonna become so hippie.
All right,
All I
so
can
you
think is the
all
15-passenger vans from when I was in college. Just these big, ugly painter vans with like.
No, this is the full one where the engine's, in the back. There's like this much room from the front to where his feet are in the front seat style VW bus.
so you all pile into the Venga bus, and Julian has once again provided Funyuns, but he made sure to bring enough for everyone.
Julian's in the back.
May
love
May
Funyuns.
brought bagels.
Yay! Yay brought beef jerky because he can never have enough beef jerky.
Ash brought gummy peaches and watermelons.
Hell yeah.
May
Jack's
is
got a duffel
like,
bag that clinkles.
Jack.
The Klinkle? The
Klinkle.
Hey, as
Klinkle?
long as I'm not driving, I'm allowed.
Oh, but it klinkles.
Clinkles, yes. I was gonna say
Please.
tinkle, but
Please
it
try
just
to stay
seemed
to
just
a
as
light
bad.
buzz for this. We don't want to cut a bad
it's
intro to
gotta
this guy.
last here and back. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna be.
All right. Then we're
Love
just gonna.
Funyuns.
And off we go.
Off you go. It's about it's like a 6 to 8 hour drive one way, I think. So you head off. The roads through the mountains in Pennsylvania, fucking terrifying. But anyway, maybe that's just me.
Not
Super
just you.
strength and inhuman
It's not just you.
reflexes will do a lot to alleviate those kind of terrors.
Fair. What is there anything going on like talking wise that you'd like to do on this road trip, or is it just an awkward silence?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be plenty of chatter.
To say, it's like, I feel like maybe we should get like a game plan. Like, what are we just gonna come up to this dude and be like, "Hey, I got your address from this lady I know."
From a government spook, yeah, no, we should definitely kind of factor that in if somebody kind of wants to take down what everybody wants to ask.
What I know about this guy is that he's notoriously hard to track down. He's not going to be very particular about guests.
Julian has pulled out a small notepad and pen from an inner pocket of his jacket and is writing down bullet points, basically taking minutes.
From what I've learned from you all, I don't. A Slayer showing up on his doorstep is either going to be welcome or a door in the face. So maybe
Well,
I shouldn't be the first in.
probably not, but we'll want to bring you up pretty quickly, I'm sure, because the crux of this is the Cruciamentum and what's happening to Slayers across the world.
Hasn't he already dealt with that once?
Not, I don't think like this. This seems to be a very relatively new thing comparatively. And if he has dealt with depowering of a Slayer before, great. Then, he's got even more experience. But I'm just hoping he at least has some answers as to what the Cruciamentum is and if there is any sort of inoculation that can be put together and given to Slayers so that it doesn't affect them.
Without killing them. Maybe
without
we should
killing
make
them.
that
Yeah.
important.
So that's really my primary concern. For questions for him.
Well,
Sec-
for an opener, I've got, hey, my dad went to Sunnydale and I'm from there, and you helped blow up my home.
But he's moved from Sunnydale to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, maybe we can
Massachusetts.
Yeah. Maybe we can bring that up a little later in here.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna want to lead off with the big thing he'll have the hardest time ignoring. And that's a sleeping ghostia.
I just imagine like Estia just like sleeping across like Ash
Yeah,
and May's
it's
lap
like-
right now. It's like a
It's
little.
kind of just like, it's probably because she's getting further away from, where she
We're not
died.
asleep.
So
I'm not asleep. I'm right here.
No, of course you're not. And Ash is like pretend petting Estia's hair. Like Estia can't feel it, but Ash is like, no, you're not sleeping. It's okay.
May's probably like trying to see if she can like maybe juice Estia a little bit with some like supernatural juice. Just be like, it's okay. Trying to make sure like she doesn't get booted back to Cleveland.
Oh, I was like, are we
making
that
a-
close? Like,
Make me a willpower occultism roll
Wouldn't be the first ghost
and
she's
add
used.
your sorcery.
All right. Let's see. Willpower plus oh
As
damn!
Glory. As Glory's just a disembodied head.
That's plus 13, y'all.
Hey.
I raised my. Why am I rolling two? I raised my occultism up. So that's 17.
Okay, so you didn't explode. That's good. But
No, I got a 4. But I have a plus 13.
yeah, not exploding is good. I'm a fan.
Estia swells up and then deflates like a balloon. Just,
Estia actually, what you can feel, so because you're not like making her solid, obviously, but
No,
what
just giving her
what
a
you
little
feel
extra.
is that, yeah,
makes me
Estia,
solid.
you feel kind of revitalized in a way, like as you've been getting further and further away from Cleveland, you've kind of felt your energetic stamina kind of not wither, but like fade a little bit. Maybe that pull that you draw on the connection is a little weaker, but May
Me a cup
May
of coffee.
allows you to
Got like a
draw.
latte.
Yeah, May allows you to sort of draw on her power a little bit, and you recuperate that energy, and you can kind of draw off of May for the time being that you are not in Cleveland.
Thanks.
I would also like to know, this one just kind of occurred to me, but is in line with the first question, who he suspects might have been the leak. If he has any ideas at all, like who among the old guard would have that knowledge, even though it was supposed to be purged, besides Rathu, who we still need to do something about.
Can we can we bring Rathu? Can we give Giles Rathu?
Did you say Rathu?
Yeah, Rathu.
Yeah.
After you passed, while we were trying to hunt down the Ubermensch vampires scientists, we were hunting down a dagger, a mystical dagger that three different mystical daggers that kind of Voltron together to form this like
Ultra
super
Slayer.
dagger.
Yeah, it's like a Slayer dagger.
It's kind of like a Slayer dagger. It can turn a normal person kind of into a Slayer, but they are indiscriminate. If it's any kind of demon or vampire or whatever, they will try to murder it.
It's a rush.
And actually used it really well. That was pretty pimp. But while we were doing that, we were apparently in competition with a rogue watcher who was turned into a rat by Cheryl after we beat him down. And Julian said that he was going to contact the Watchers Council and they would come and take Rathu off our hands instead of having him run in a wheel and, poop
Julian
in
speaks
wood
up and says,
shavings.
and I'm glad I did not, because with what's going on, I don't trust them with Rathu.
Okay, you know what? That is actually a good point. But still, so we've
So
got it.
are we traveling with a rat?
No, that's back in Julian's office. We made sure he had plenty of water and food pellets.
I thought about it.
He gets enrichment time and such. It's all good. And so that's Rathu now. I don't actually even remember his real name at this point. It's Rathu.
He's Rathu. I don't remember either. He's unimportant, is what it is.
Yeah. Until one of these times we come back and the rat cage is shattered and we have a pissed off, vengeful ex-watcher on our hands.
Yeah.
But that's
Julian says, I mean, unless Cheryl decides she wants to undo the spell, there's not really a lot that can turn him back.
oh,
Well,
that's good to know, at
that's
least.
not exactly true.
He turns to May and goes, care to elaborate?
Any witch or warlock or anyone with enough magic power could do it. I mean, it takes a little extra effort, but it's not impossible.
Julian writes something down in his notebook and then goes, okay. So what else are we gonna ask this Giles guy? This Rupert dude.
There's probably like a page of notes from Julian and Ash from earlier in the week. When they kind of like sat down together. So Ash is engaging in conversation, but isn't really contributing to the questions too much. But they're like, Hellmouth things.
Hashtag just Hellmouth things.
Just Hellmouth things.
Okay. Last call for conversations.
Actually,
I
during
Spy.
oh, sorry, no, go
No, go
I mean
ahead.
the I Spy,
Yeah.
yeah. But during this, Ash is probably closer near to the end of the drive, is going to be like, so have you figured out a location for your date yet? And like look like this between May and Yay. Like, they're trapped in a car for hours. Of course, this is going to come up.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of been trying to figure out how to make sure you don't die. That's,
Yeah. More
really
important things like your date.
Tell you what, how about next weekend we just come hell or high water, we have our date. If you need me to figure things out for this first one, I will do it. If you still want to plan out the first one, I can plan the second one.
I mean, I feel like since I asked you out, I should at least put some effort into the first one.
Okay.
I think
So-
my idea is stupid, though.
No.
Ash should be
Sure.
like,
And then you actually like
You
whisper
actually
it
cut
so
out
to-
entirely.
oh
Could not
no.
hear any of that.
Oh, Ash will be like, tell me later what it is. You
Oh.
know? And just like be like, it's not stupid.
I've just technically I guess never went on a date before, so I'm
Oh.
going off of internet date ideas.
You're doomed.
I was gonna say that makes two of us. Like I never really did the thing. I went to prom, but that didn't really go well. That wasn't really a date.
Go have
Oh,
coffee.
Ash will kind of prick up and be like, well, if it makes you feel better, my first date was at a bouncy house with kids with a demon that oozed slime that when the kids licked him, they saw things. So, can't be worse than that.
Lacey and I kind of just skipped prom. There was a like a Sagwin that was terrorizing the local pond, and so we went out and took care of that.
Yeah, that sounds about
Jack's
right.
like, I didn't finish high school.
Wow.
Some dipshits tried to sacrifice our entire class to a demon I will not name. They were very inept, but I still didn't really get a prom experience with all that.
I'm the only one here that had a normal childhood.
I didn't go to prom.
Looks at
I just-
Julian. What weird shit did you do for prom?
Wait, who?
Julian.
Julian.
Oh, Julian.
What weird shit did you do for prom?
I went with Katie Miller, and it was Romance Under the Sea themed. Thank you very much. It was fine.
I tell you what.
It was not that, but if Jillian asks, it was fine.
I feel like there's more to this story, and we should all poke Julian to tell us more. And that's how the conversation
No.
goes.
No, you should. That's what the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, the
Perfect.
conversation zooms out at that point.
We're all
Yeah.
like, God.
As they drive past
So-
Boston to the beach.
Bust out
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Greece. Tell me more. Tell me more.
So, the address that that Alice procured for you guys is
That my
actually for a
what?
tiny.
That my Alice? Yeah, that my.
No, that Alice, that Alice procured for you, is for a tiny town on the coast of Massachusetts. The house itself, it's a little house, little coastal cottage looking thing. It's actually several miles from the town itself, but it's just off the water. And as you approach, you see there is a little vegetable plot out front. An old man is bent over, turning the soil and planting seeds, making use of the nice weather today. He's dressed in some blue jeans with a white tee tucked into them and an unbuttoned flannel over top of it. His hair is white and he wears metal rimmed glasses.
Does he have the
May,
straw hat?
as yes. May, as you guys are approaching this house, the drive up is fairly long because it's in the middle of wherever. After a minute, you are caught off guard suddenly by a blur of glowing lines and fields of magical energy surrounding this house.
Me or just everybody?
May.
I feel like I don't know. Like May isn't because like she can see it, but she can't like figure it out like that fast. So she just like throws her arm at Ye and is like, "Stop!"
Did we find the place?
Yeah.
You
think so.
have stopped about 100 feet from the house.
Okay. So
Okay.
Ye would have stopped as soon as he's not about to accidentally run over this guy's begonias or whatever. So he's gonna stop a respectful distance away anyway. And then turn off the car, pop out, open the door, help people out.
Is he like noticing us like or is it just like he's engrossed in his work? He's probably just like pretending. But it's like can May like look at these this magic anymore just in case like it's anything that might hurt like Yay or Estia or something because they have the like more supernatural.
Yeah. So on like a closer inspection, it is like wards against evil, wards against demons, wards against spirits, basically wards against anything that's not human.
All right. So he's just like, well, there's only one way to really find out.
May's like pulling on his arm like I don't want you to find out. Uh maybe just the rest of us go talk to him first.
You make me a perception notice check, May. And I guess anyone who wants to.
I like rolling.
I like rolling.
Same here. Perception notice.
14 for me.
15.
13.
14.
Twinsies.
13, 14. Cool. Okie doke. So you all notice the man's head bobs up and he clocks you guys, but he continues to plant the seeds in his little vegetable plot. When you guys wave, he kind of sighs to himself like he can't just pretend that he didn't see you anymore. So he gets up and brushes off the dirt from his pants and takes off the gardening gloves and sets them on the edge of the fence. And he walks over maybe about 75 feet towards the edge of this boundary that he seems very aware of. And he's about 15 feet from you guys, and 25 feet from you guys. I can do math. And he says, "Can I help you?"
Hopefully. Mr. Rupert Giles, former watcher.
I don't do that sort of thing anymore.
Yeah, I know. And I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't something really terrible. We're not even asking you to leave your property. We're not asking you to come with us. We just hope you might have some information because slayers are dying in droves.
And why should this be my problem?
Why shouldn't it be?
You've got the entirety of the Watchers Council. You've got other slayers.
About that.
We're pretty sure they're the ones, doing all of the bad.
Or at least
Too
enough
many
of the bad.
slayers, not enough watchers. They want to even the playing field a little bit so they're important again. That's my guess.
Or it's a plot to remove all slayers. But let me ask you this. Are you familiar with the Cruciamentum?
How do you know about that?
Because that's what they're using. He points to Ash. This is our slayer, Ash.
Hi, I'm
She's
Ash.
awesome. And it nearly killed her. We had
I
to
almost
sacrifice. Yeah. Between that and what was the name of that poison that was used to the assassins?
It was Julian speaks up and says, Mors interfectoris.
Morris interfactoris.
And Giles gets this look on his face as if like the moon was about to crash into the earth.
We've seen that. No, just kidding.
I say like,
I
let's
feel
not
like,
have that
"Oh,
again.
Is-
He looks between all of you guys and he says, "One moment." And he walks back to his house and goes inside, and there is kind of a long moment where you're wondering if maybe he just blew you off. But
what I would've
May,
done.
after a few minutes, the wards kind of open a little bit, and you hear from the house, "You best come in before they close."
Scoot.
May starts directing Ye and Estia like in a line, like go 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 go.
Please keep your arms to your chest. Do not let them dangle.
As they go through, Jack wonders out loud, I wonder if this guy knows your Nana. Like, you're obviously concerned, so this guy's got some serious magic. There's no way. There's no way he doesn't.
Well, I mean, also the other way would be like if he saw her at like parent teacher conferences. She kind of raised my dad, so
Right.
Yeah.
Me, the player, keeps forgetting that. Jack would know. Jack has a photographic memory, but Bison forgets. Bison smokes.
I
too
don't think
much.
May ever said that to anyone. Is the thing? It's just like she's just like, yeah, Nana raised her dad.
I'm sorry, what?
So
What?
I'll ask later of what.
Nana Yaga raised May's dad instead of her grandparents. It's in Sunnydale. New Sunnydale.
No, old Sunnydale.
Oh, old
Old
Sunnydale.
Sunnydale.
Yep. And
Yeah.
then New Sunnydale was
Sunnydale.
May. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Gail scootled through with everybody and
Ash
Head
is
over to the
probably
house.
weirdly sticking closer to Julian.
this is my watcher. This one.
Giles comes
can't
back
have him.
out. He has switched from his gardening gear into a more kind of like a thin brushed leather jacket and you know, run fingers through his hair so it's less hat hair. But he sighs and he looks at you guys again and he goes, well, I suppose you need to tell me everything. And he sort of gestures for you to follow him behind the house, where you find a little tea set with mismatched cups on like a garden table, and he is pulling out various things to sit on. Not all of them are chairs because he lives alone and doesn't really like have guests. So
Gail take the tree stump or whatever, like the sturdiest looking thing he got.
yeah, there's definitely like a tree stump that he uses to like chop firewood or whatever. He's actually in pretty decent shape for an old guy.
That was generally
Is there a
good.
beanbag chair? Because Estia is gonna totally hover above the beanbag chair.
There is
Kyle's
not a
probably doesn't have.
beanbag chair.
There's one
No.
inside, so just her head pops up above a window every couple seconds.
Yeah.
So he sits down and he starts to pour everyone tea, and he says, "Right, I suppose you'll need to fill me in on where are you even from?"
Cleveland, Ohio.
He makes a connection in his head, and he goes, "Well, that would explain a lot. I'm assuming
I mean, me
yes."
originally, Sunnydale. Hi.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah, oh,
you're too young to be from Sunnydale.
I was 2 when it became a crater.
All right. Listen, I would love to sit here and have a genealogy fest, but if you say Slayers are dying, I believe that's more important.
Yeah. So we can skip over kind of how we all met, and we'll start with the Ubermensch vampires, I think, and the Ohio Cleveland Hellmouth.
And now the fact that it's really open now.
Yeah, the C4 buried it but didn't close it. That's and Ye's just like, all right, so in Cleveland on campus is kind of where the first iteration of this team, as it were, got together. And we got together because women started disappearing from campus very strangely. Other people did. And he goes, hold on a minute. I guess it's a little show and tell too, and just and goes to his demon form. So I
He
May
actually,
just seems to
Giles,
go-
what you see, what you see is actually something rather akin to looking unsurprised from him.
yeah, he didn't expect to shock Giles, but you know, he's just kind of putting it out there. I'm the Oracle for my sins, or at least the one in Cleveland. The powers that be were pointing me in the direction of this, what was going on, and it turned out it was 2 vampire scientists who were trying to develop the perfect vampire. They had already made their own bootleg Gems of Amara, and had made some unstable but very powerful vampires before we got involved. Estio was their last victim. I'm gonna point to the ghost. That's
Right.
yeah, she was part of the original group and kind of really what set off the rampage that followed.
Sorry to hear that.
Yep. Well, she's back with us, so you know, could be worse. But so after we did all that, we started to try and put things back together after we wiped them out and at least buried the Hellmouth because we didn't know how to close it. We just didn't have the power.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
No, I'm not complaining. It's better than it just sitting there open with just some hatches keeping it closed. But anyway, not long after that, we started hearing about Slayers dying. And at first, it was like, well, unfortunately, some Slayers die in the line of duty. That's what happens. But then they started dying mysteriously, not like in battle, but there are reports of ones who were actually pretty happy and healthy with their lot just weakening and passing away, and others being killed in battles with creatures that shouldn't have been able to beat them. While we were on an unrelated mystery, as it were.
Bunny-apocalypse.
Yep, Bunny-apocalypse. Well, actually,
Yeah.
this was before the Bunny-apocalypse. It was when the moon and sun came to Earth. Remember, that's where we first heard about the Cruciamentum. Avatars of the sun and moon came to Earth and came to May's Nana for help because the sun was off pouting and the moon wanted to find her. What was his name again? I can never remember the name.
Delano.
Delano, that was it.
I'm not supposed to know that.
Okay. But he's like, yeah,
Maybe
Delano.
it's like Delano.
Yeah, Delano. And his boon
Well, you
for us.
probably would have filled Jack in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have told him.
We met the sun and moon.
The boon we got for helping the moon and the sun reunite and patch up their relationship for now anyway was an answer to a question, and so we asked what could be causing these slayer deaths because we were worried about Ash, and Delano just said the cruciamentum, and we dug up what we could, but there wasn't a lot, and things didn't get dire until while fighting off giant rabbits that were giant due to the leftover experiments from the vampires we buried, the scientists. Ash was attacked by something that seemed young and female but incredibly fast.
And then I almost died.
Yep. It slashed her and gave her the cruciamentum, apparently injected the cruciamentum and the vague Latin words.
Of course.
Yeah, the poison. It took efforts from all of us, including a potion that required one of the gems of Amara that I don't think that was one of the ones we recovered. It just kind of happened to be there. But a gem of Amara, ashes of a affiliated vampire, which was Hestia's ashes, and some other things to break her out of it. Julian and his wife. Julian, do you want to tell your theories on the Watchers and the corruption they're in, or should we just count it as red?
Julian goes to start up, and Giles actually says, "No need. I have had enough. So why are you bothering me?"
Well, because your name carries weight, whether you like it or not, and you've experienced more than I think just about any other Watcher out there. And it seemed like if anybody who wasn't part of whatever's going on would have information about the cruciamentum, how it's manufactured, so we can look and try and shut that down, or in an inoculation for it, or a counter agent, or something we can get out to the rest of the Slayers to stop them from being mowed down.
Well, the cruciamentum, as far as I'm aware, is simply muscle relaxants and adrenaline suppressors.
That didn't...
Incredibly strong.
Okay, I was going to say, strong enough to overcome a Slayer's constitution?
I felt like I was.
Sounds like a pre-mission cocktail.
It is a potent cocktail.
I mean, I don't know if it was the poison mixed with it, but I quite literally felt like I was dying, and then lo and behold, do you think they could have doctored it at all to be maybe even a little more potent than last known?
Perhaps you say Molten Defectoris was used on you?
Uh-huh.
Julian nods and says, "It's literally the only thing it could have been. A simple cruciamentum, from what I understand now, would not have killed her. It would have, or killed them. It would have just weakened them. And this was not weakening. This was dying." And Giles sort of knits his brows in thought.
Don't worry, Ash, it's not too bad. If you ever run into it again. The whole dying thing isn't actually too bad.
Well, this one's cheery. Unfortunately, only time thus far allows for the crucial momentum drugs to wear off. I suppose one could try to synthesize a resisting agent, but the serum, like I said, is simply a cocktail of powerful pharmacological agents. The fact that your friend here was poisoned at the same time is what you should truly be focusing on. Now,
What about epinephrine?
perhaps, although that is something to look into.
Geese could actually use a little bit of
If
his messes in here and be like, if they're comboing the two, wouldn't that cause the heart rate to speed up again and spread the poison through the body faster?
if that is the case, if there is someone amongst the watchers who is using this information, they would have to be from the absolute upper echelons to have known about the crucial momentum and the poison. I for one barely escaped the whole purge of information. I was no longer a watcher when they decided to enact that, but even former watchers didn't fully escape.
So if we were right, and it is probably somebody still in the Watchers Council and very highly placed who's making moves.
Well,
He
then
turns
at
to
that point, we
Julian.
just need names.
He turns to Julian and says, "Who's the president of the council now?" And Julian says, Archibald Sutherland Smythe." And
Jack
Giles says,
visibly
"Okay."
recoils at that name.
Giles says, "Good lord, not that pathetic twit." He had some interesting perspectives during our days at the council, but he's a simpering coward. I highly doubt it's him behind this. There was Victor, but he hasn't showed his deplorable face any time in a long time, though.
Was Victor the name of Ratu? Is that the guy we were at?
I was thinking Vincent, and I was like, it's a V name.
Ye's gonna give a very pointed look to Julian, as in the should we tell him sort of look.
Julian gives you like a no, not right now.
Ratu stays a secret a little longer.
Asya looks over at this Rupert guy and is like, so how did you escape?
I became unfindable, essentially. Well, clearly not anymore. But
That's what I was gonna say. That is out of character. But
I
I
don't
was just gonna
know
be like, clearly not.
Yeah. I don't know who you know and how you found me. But it should not
Magic.
have happened. It had to have been magic. There's simply no way to find me without it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to say she's a pretty good technopath. So you left some sort of trail somewhere.
Do you still have a MySpace? I bet you she found you through your MySpace.
No, that would have been GeoCities.
No, MySpace was still early 2000s.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
A live journal, maybe, or a dead journal.
That journal was my jam.
I had a dead journal.
God,
when
I
was
had a
little.
dead journal too.
An AIM account somewhere. That's
It doesn't matter where, just that you left a trace somewhere.
He totally had a SoundCloud.
That aside,
I'm not dealing with any of this. But yes,
I still don't see what I can possibly do to help, other than give you information you seem like you already know.
not all of it. We didn't know what the cruciamentum was, so we couldn't think up any counter to that, or even just knowing that all it would take when it's not combined with poison is time. You gave us the fact that we had some suspicions that it was somebody high in the Watchers Council, but this pretty much proves it with your cooperation. And did you?
Well, then you're welcome. And if that's all, you may leave now.
He's gonna look around at everybody.
How did you destroy the Hellmouth?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
With a great amount of effort and much sacrifice. If you know of Sunnydale, then I'm sure you're aware of how it ended.
Big freaking hole in the ground.
I knew the
Sinkhole from
end. What
wastewater.
brought it to the end? Because something has to go with this Hellmouth in Cleveland.
And it's in a residential area.
And I don't want to see another Sunnydale.
Nor do I. When we eliminated the Sunnydale Hellmouth, we had to channel the energy of the sun into the portal. It required a rare amulet and the sacrifice of an ally.
So
Now,
that theoretically, what if we knew the sun?
Can't be that.
theoretically, y- he, he looks like he's not fully comprehending, but he's like,
You stumped Giles.
Nice.
Broke him.
Yep.
And Ash is like,
No, you
hey,
broke
you've
Chris.
you've made that
broke
face before.
Chris.
Giles is like, I forgot what it was like dealing with slayers.
He looks at
Basic-
you and he just goes, "Why are slayers always so short?"
That is a good question.
And
They're
then
always
he-
little tiny ones, but basically, you
May
look
is just like
confused.
holding Ash, is like covering their ears. It's like, don't say that. That's so rude. Just like
Ash is
petting
like,
them.
I'm not short, I'm fun sized.
You were very
Now you
fun.
got her
Ash.
going again.
Yep. The sun and the moon transubstantiated during the eclipse. That's
Right,
where,
so like
remember,
right, and we fixed their marriage and we got them better, so they kind of owe us a little bit of a favor, and they did that already with telling us about the cruciamentum. But
Well, then they
theoretically,
won't be able to manifest again if they already manifested on the eclipse.
Mm, but there are other solar events that, and Ash is like doing this back and forth to Julian, like, am I getting this right? Am I getting this right? Like, there are other.
Julian's nodding, like you're right, but then Giles is like, and you are going to wait until another solar event to
But there
close
are
the
lunar.
Hellmouth.
But there are lunar events too, and there are astrological events that channel some energy that. And Ash is kind of like
You
reaching
need
for
to
straws at this point.
close that Hellmouth before it closes your city.
does
Right.
that amulet still exist, or is something? Do you know of anything similar?
No.
Is
If
there
I
a way to
did,
make another one?
I perhaps if you're saying those Ubermensch vampires recreated the Gem of Amara, which was also destroyed. Are you saying Listen, what you're dealing with, from what it sounds like, is much, much further beyond what you can possibly fathom. If you opened a Hellmouth, you must close it before someone finds it.
Oh, we didn't open it. They opened it. It was all part of their plan. We just killed them before they could do anything with it and buried it
Well,
as
then it is
best we
still
could.
your job to close it.
Yeah, that's why we're asking if the amulet. Did you hear me go? Yeah, no, I'm screw it. I'm just gonna leave the helm up. No, we're asking you how we can do it because we're going to do it.
It will be incredibly difficult, obviously. Only one Hellmouth has ever been successfully shut, and it took the strength of the sun and the collapse of a town. I can't say if there's another way besides brute strength, but.
Tried
And
it.
he looks at May. He looks at May, and he says, "Your witch friend certainly has incredible power if she were to find the right spell."
Well, that gives us a direction at least, and we can. What did the amulet have like a name? Would there have been write-ups on it previously, or is it something that was forged specifically for the Hellmouth? That Hellmouth.
As far as I'm aware, before it was taken into the Hellmouth and obliterated, it was simply an amulet that was to. I believe the vampire who gave it to Buffy said it was meant for a champion. I wouldn't call Spike a champion. Wouldn't call Spike a lot of things. But nonetheless, he used it to he used it to sacrifice himself. And as far as I'm aware, even if it was not destroyed, it is locked on the other side of the portal, which is now closed.
Yeah, and I'm not opening it to try and get
And I
the amulet.
don't
Well, but
think they're
there's
gonna
an-
take it with
I
them
would suggest
outside
you
of the
don't.
helmet.
Oh, but there's
Sarah,
another.
what did you say?
Buzz or Jack was like, I don't think they're gonna take it with them on the other side of the Hellmouth, so either we gotta find a new one or think of something else.
And what was Estia saying?
That there's more than one Hellmouth. If they took it through the Hellmouth, can't we use another Hellmouth to get it back?
In
Yeah.
theory, but not every portal leads to the same dimension. There are infinite hell dimensions. Playing
Yeah.
with portals is not something to be done lightly.
What
Well,
about
and
thinking with portals?
I
What?
also. What?
Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
I sense a joke.
How dare you?
I sense a joke I am too English to understand.
There's a disturbance in the humor force. I completely forgot what I was saying. Aren't there's a bunch of aren't there a bunch of Hellmouths? There's not just the two in the US, right?
There are rumored ones, there are suspected ones, there's one confirmed one on Easter Island, as far as I'm aware, but I think there's one in Alaska.
Could
So
rather go
what's
to
the
Easter
point of
Island.
closing the Cleveland one? Where are we? Cleveland, Cincinnati? I don't remember.
Cleveland.
Cleveland. What's the point of closing the Cleveland one if there are others?
Saving Cleveland?
Because the Julian Julian speaks up and says because the Cleveland one is the one that's open. Hellmouths don't have to be open to attract evil. The Cleveland one just happens to be open
Oh.
thanks to
A very dead
Some-
vampire.
Which is
Yes.
extra bad and how you get giant rock bunnies.
Actually, the rock bunnies were kind of cute. I would have kept one if I could, but it didn't seem like you could domesticate them very easily.
Oh, I wish though. That'd be so awesome.
But,
Probably a
okay,
problem when
so-
stuff comes out of them.
Okay. I didn't see that. So, he's gonna be like, all right, so either we try and find a way into whatever dimension the Sunnydale Hellmouth was to try and get the amulet, or we figure something else out and just know that at least last time it took the power of the sun.
The butt.
Well,
those would be your options.
yep.
Okay, and in the shorter term, while we work on that, we also have to solve this like Slayer dying thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And did we
I would certainly hope so.
decide there was an antidote to the poison?
To the Memento Mori or whatever it was.
The Mors
Or-
Defectoris.
Defectoris.
So do we have to work on like an antidote to that? Is that a thing we have to do?
Well, the antidote, I assume, is the one you used to save your friend,
Yeah, that's not
unless they
sustainable.
just magically recovered, which
I'm a
I didn't
beast.
think
Yeah,
I mean,
we
that's-
right.
go ahead, Estia.
That was, I mean, that's not really an antidote. It's more of like a ritual.
Well, and it took once again a gem of Amara, very rare ashes, and some other extremely difficult to get your hands on
Right.
Yeah, there's
things.
gotta be
This
a better way. Is it a?
Well-
It's a magical poison, right?
It is, yes.
Or is it a chemical poison?
To kill a Slayer would require very strong magic. To kill a weakened Slayer,
A
Mors
9mm
Defectoris was
good aim.
designed for. Thank you, Mr. Military.
I didn't catch what you said, Jack.
A 9mm and good aim.
Yeah, well,
Mors Defectoris was designed for fully strength or for fully functioning, full capacity, full strength Slayers. So the fact that you did not die immediately, Ash, and this is the first time he has called you by your name,
Makes them a badass.
I told you I'm a
Is-
beast.
is quite remarkable. However, that does not mean that you are off the hook.
Okay.
I need to look at my books.
I mean, what? So, like, does it work twice? There's like
It
confusion on Ash's
works.
face.
It works whenever it's. What's the word I'm looking for?
applied,
Administered.
administered. yeah.
Administered.
Well,
Works-
yeah,
So,
I mean,
but-
if you
but they
think about
can't-
it,
They can't activate it from afar again, right? Like they gotta like.
it
you
has
know.
to be physically applied.
Right. So about that bubble.
So
I mean,
what?
it sounds like magical arsenic. Like it sounds like if you apply the arsenic, it will kill you, and if you survive the arsenic, but you apply more arsenic, then it will kill you. Right?
Essentially, yes.
So I need to look at my books. And she
May-
looks directly
May's
at
been, like,
Ye.
Thinking about this, and she's just like, we're focusing way too much on what the poison and the cruciamentum and stuff is. It's just like we need to figure out who and stop it from just happening. We can't just keep solving the aftermath.
Solving the aftermath is the first step. That gives us time to find who's doing it. That also gives us more slayers to work on the whole closing the Hellmouth thing.
We would have to have all the slayers come here, and most of them are in hiding because a lot of them have died.
We get them out of hiding.
So they can die.
So we can die.
Buddy system. Slayer buddy system.
Also creates
Well,
more targets.
They've been keeping track of which Slayer lines have been affected.
I think we
And
need to find the
Julian
ones that
said-
haven't, because I think that was a Slayer that attacked Ash.
Wouldn't be the first rogue slayer.
Well, every time a Slayer dies, a new Slayer is called, which means killing Slayers is not the right way to go about it.
Unless
is there a way to
killing
trap the
slayers to
slayers?
train new ones. Yeah.
Well,
There's
no,
like
actually, I was going a different way in that
Oh.
is there a way to recage that energy? Like reseal it down to
No,
just so
it's-
you only get one slayer? Because there used to be
It's
just one
not-
slayer, right?
It's not energy. It's a bloodline. It's a power that is passed on, but it is not. It is not. It is not an embodiment of anything. It is a duty that comes with abilities. It's a calling. You can't give it to someone as if it were simply something possessed.
Well, then how did they seal it down to one in the first place? Is the question. If there was at a time only one slayer in the world ever, and now all of a sudden we've got dozens of slayers or however many slayers there are now, what changed, and is it at all possible that somebody could put that genie back in the bottle? Because if they figured out a way to lock it back down, then all they need to do is wipe out slayers until they have one left. And one slayer while dangerous, is not nearly as bad as a small army of them. If you've got
You
some
would
sort of
need to end the superfluous Slayer lines.
God.
So if they keep killing slayers, eventually they're going to run out of slayer bloodlines.
No, because the Slayer powers will simply pass to the next potential.
But you said it was passed through bloodlines. That's how it keeps coming up. Does
It's
it
not
pass through?
literal bloodlines.
Oh, okay.
It's my nobody in my family was a slayer that I've known of, unless somebody's keeping secrets.
Yay?
Hmm?
Did you tell you Jenny about this whole thing going on?
I'm pretty sure we mentioned it to you,
We
Jenny.
did. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
You're sure? Not
Yeah.
pretty sure. You warned her about this, right?
Yeah.
That someone was coming after Slayers and poisoning them, right?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
She
Yes,
did not seem
there's-
as worried as she should have been, but
I think we went to her first.
yeah.
Yes, we
she
did.
was actually
Yeah,
the
there's
first one we
Ash.
went.
Ash jumps in at this point. It's like yes, because like Ash, yeah. There's a yes, 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 yes. The other
Was
question.
that this time that you actually you just notice that Julian gets up like he's taking another phone call, and he just sort of walks out. But the conversation continues.
Ash kind of says, well, my other question is if we can't channel it back, and if it was a slayer that attacked me, maybe they're killing slayers and harvesting. And Ash kind of like says it with a bunch of like new potentials. Like, what if they just have a bunch of potentials and they're waiting for like like some weird brainwashing boot camp where like they can actually, you know, use them against other slayers that they don't want.
They're young enough; they can easily be grooming them.
Yeah, that's a better word than harvesting.
That's sort of antithetical to the purpose of the Watchers Council. The Watchers Council,
Well, it was
unless
antithetical,
they
but
have
Right.
someone's
unless
making
they
a
have
power play.
vastly changed their stance, they are still incredibly anti-evil.
Right.
They-
Well, don't you
Except-
think that the appearance of multiple slayers might have changed that? And they've become power hungry?
Or loss of power. They're not relevant anymore. Do something
Julian's
to boot
wife
camp.
is so
is-
scared of them, she brought her kid here. Like, obviously, there's something more going on.
It is the Slayer's job to maintain the balance of good and evil. Since the influx of Slayers all those years ago, the balance has shifted, but it has only prompted evil to try harder and get stronger. If evil has infiltrated the Watchers Council, then
Oh boy.
I pray for your souls. You say you faced this person, this force alone, and it injured you, and he talks directly to Ash.
Yes. Like it was I'm fast. This was something. I mean, it was dark. I couldn't see and I might have run off by myself. And thinking back, it probably might have been some sort of trap. But this, I mean, it was young and definitely feminine and so fast, and I couldn't even see it. And then suddenly a stinging, and not even 10 minutes later, I felt like I was dying.
Either I just like thought of something so wild and it's absolutely completely not right, or I've solved it. The
Here to
I'm
buy a
so
vowel?
ready.
the freaking Slayer knife that Jack used. What if they have one like that and they're stabbing Slayers with it, sucking out their powers while also delivering the poison? If it kills them, the powers go into that knife and it's increasing the power of one Slayer.
The Jack's just kind of like thinking, he's like, the dagger didn't. There's a compulsion with the Zealot's blade. It doesn't let you attack a Slayer. It doesn't even, the thought does not even enter your head.
Not in your hand, but
Not
I
in
held
your
that
hands.
knife. But I held that knife, and I'm willing to guess that our experiences were very different with that knife.
So there could be some sort of quickening knife out there. There can be only one.
Did you, by any chance, was this knife, by any chance, formerly Three Knives?
Yep.
Oh no. Yeah.
Please tell me they don't have the knife.
Nope.
They don't have the knife.
Thank God.
They know what it
That would
feels like,
be-
though.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It's like they know what it feels like, though. Or not, I guess not the Watchers, but, you know.
Jack used it when we were taking down the Ubermensch vampires.
What did you guys do with the knife after that?
Julian has it.
Is Julian
Yeah,
sure
Julian
he has
has
it?
it.
Only Julian and Ye know where it is. They wouldn't let Jack find out.
Yay doesn't even know
Esther,
where it is anymore.
Eugenie cold cocked him.
Does Rathu
Put it
know
down,
where it is?
bad boy, funk. Dropping it.
Rathu would not know where it is. No.
Is Julian absolutely
Um,
sure he knows it's still there?
It's
I
part
don't
of
know. Ask
Rathu's
him when he gets
enclosure.
back.
It's part of Rathu's enclosure. Nobody knows.
But it like this is Luna. This is like all I can think is just like if the freaking like Ubermensch vamps could make a new gem of Amara, why can't someone else make some new nasty blades?
Because that nasty blade took the power of every warlock in an entire town.
Well, there's multiple Hellmouths
Oh,
with
I would.
lots of power sitting in
And there's a
them.
lot of slayers dying.
The only thing I can think that doesn't point to the dagger is the fact that Mr. Giles here is absolutely certain that that power can't be actually taken or stored or anything. The Slayer dies, the power moves on.
Unless it's taken.
I was present for many a, I think they would have called them shenanigans, when it came to slayers and powers and struggles for that power, and I never ever came across any sort of instance of slayer power being transferred other than by the death of a slayer. There is no way to take that power from a slayer once that slayer has received their power. It is ordained by the powers that be. And
Okay,
he
but have you ever seen a
actually,
Nazi
all of
vampire?
you,
Have you ever met
all of
the
you,
sun
make
and the
me
moon?
a perception notice check.
I fought the goddamn Krampus.
May is just starting to
we-
point out all of these things he didn't know, and it's just like just because you've seen a lot of things doesn't mean you've seen everything.
15.
Ye is
I got a 9.
not paying attention at the moment.
I got a 10 plus 6, 16.
When you hear him say, it is ordained by the powers that be, Ash and May, you see him glance quickly at May, but then look away. Back to Ye and Jack.
Yeah, I know the powers that be. I wouldn't call them exactly infallible. I'm not talking shit, by the way. I'm just making a statement, one that I can prove.
May doesn't say anything.
You
she
get
just
you get a feeling like
squints
someone
real
flipped
hard.
you in the temple.
Yeah,
At Josh.
Ash and May probably like share a quick look too. After that, like a quick little like sidebar silent conversation. Like you saw that, right? You know. There's a squint though of like what? Because Ash is confused because the glance to May, like Ash would have thought Jaws would have glanced at Yay because powers that be. Right? So the glance to May is a little off-putting.
Things suddenly got tense. What are you all doing?
I don't want to be here anymore. And May's gonna get up and walk outside.
Well, I think we've more than worn out our welcome. So, thank you for humoring us. Sorry to have shattered your peace,
Julian.
but at least now you know you can be found here too.
Well, I can certainly fix that. I apologize if I ruined the fun, but there's not much for you to do here other than harass me, so You
No, no,
must be on your way.
you can spare the British hospitality. You deserve your peace, and I wouldn't have bothered you if we weren't desperate. So, thank you. He holds out a hand. He's careful not to crush it, even if he's got a strong grip.
He gives you like a firm, kind of cold handshake.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Fucking Brits. All right, so
It's not because he's British.
yeah, I know, but that's what I'm going to blame it on. You can't
Ash
stop me.
is the last to leave, so if anybody else has anything to say to Giles, I'm gonna let them go first.
Jack, as he leaves, he sort of gets up from he's been leaning against like a support, like a patio support. And he's like, if you plant the beans next to the tomatoes next year, you'll get less bugs. He walks out.
Get a nod.
Estia follow everybody else because Ash is essentially waiting to just be there.
Guys, we forgot our ghost.
Yeah. Estia follows everybody else, Glory. Yes.
Here, Estia, I've
Yeah,
got an
okay.
ecto cooler.
Yeah. Ash is gonna wait, and Ash actually is just still sitting, just like watching Giles, right? For like everybody to leave. And like waits for everybody to leave, and they're still sitting, and they're just kind of like, not like creepy staring, but just like contemplatively staring at him. And then go ahead.
Giles sits back down actually and says, "Doesn't take a genius to tell that you have more things to say."
I just want to receive the message loud and clear here that you're going to look at me in my eyes sitting here and essentially give me a proverbial middle finger and say, best of luck to you. Hope you don't die, when you have managed to close a Hellmouth against all odds, when the universe presumably says you can't, survived, managed to make it out, not albeit with trauma, clearly. But I just want to make sure that that message is loud and clear.
What I'm saying is that you can't rely on a washed up old man to solve the problems that the world creates for you. You may be able to rely on your friends, and that is wonderful. But you found yourself alone with this force of evil. And if that ever happens again, you need to be able to rely on yourself as well.
I wasn't exactly looking for a savior. I've kind of already got them. Was maybe looking for a little bit more of a teammate, but glad that got
What do you
complex.
want me to do?
Help. You have endless knowledge that we might have experienced something different, but you clearly know things you're not saying, and like gestures to May walking out the door, and you're refusing to help. And I understand wanting peace, but once a slayer, always a slayer. Once a watcher, always a watcher. You want out, but you can't escape this. We found you, even if you didn't want to be
Why do you want to
found.
know? All right then. What do you want to know about your friend? I can tell you about your friend. Your friend is a walking bomb.
What does that mean?
Has no one told you? Has no one told her?
Clearly not.
Bloody hell. Your friend is pure magic. She is a ticking bomb of unbridled energy. Does she know the details of her birth? By any chance?
Not exactly open with it. If she does, I don't.
Well, that may be something she'll want to discuss with her parents.
There's just a scoff from Ash. Right. because parents are okay. Thank you for your vague and illustrious half help, I suppose. Was kind of hoping you'd be cool, but it seems like I already got a better watcher. Have a good one.
Ooh.
It's not my job to be the cool watcher anymore. I was like him, starry-eyed with a closet full of tweed. I am a washed-up old man now who has seen his fair share of horrors. And I wish to escape that life, and yet it comes back and finds me every single time.
You know, they say that the things that are meant for you always seem to find you. And Ash just kind of
When you all leave the house, Julian is out front pacing. And he looks
May go
very
straight past him to
upset.
the car, and she's grabbing, like, I imagine they have a cooler, and she's crunching on ice, and there's just, like, steam.
Julian just doesn't seem to notice or care. He is heatedly discussing something quietly on this phone call, and he, as you make your way over to him, hangs up, puts his phone in his pocket, takes off his jacket, balls it up, and throws it at the side of the car.
Scratch the finish.
Then he runs his fingers through his hair, messing up his nice waxed coif or whatever he has.
Julian, bro, what is it? I don't think I've seen you this worked up.
He looks sincerely very upset, and he turns to you all and with a very heavy look and a heavy heart, and I think for the first time kind of bubbling rage, he says, "They're killing potentials."
Oh,
Ash stops in their tracks, turns back around, and is like, not leaving.
May just throws up her hands, like, okay, so I hate being right, but
Jack
Um,
just shakes his head, rubs his temples.
doesn't
Julian, you need a drink?
I will
Right.
take whatever you have in that clinky bag.
He reaches down to his boot and pulls out a hip flask. I got something better.
all right. Hold
Julian
on. Before we,
drains it.
well, maybe that'll actually make this easier. How does killing potentials stop the Slayers from coming back? If you wipe out enough
And then
potentials, there's
from behind you, you hear Giles's voice again. Actually, he has followed you out, and he says, "When you kill a potential, you kill a Slayer line."
But you don't activate the new Slayer if they're still just a potential.
so what they
So-
kill the potentials, then kill the Slayer, and then another Slayer is not born of that, or like doesn't inherit that power. It just vanishes into the ether again.
I'm not
No,
sure that
it's-
that's how it works, though.
That's
that
what he
seems I know, and I'm not. It's not that I'm doubting. It's just that that seems like a pretty obvious loophole. The powers that be don't really do loopholes really a lot.
You would be surprised what the powers that be do and don't do.
You really would. Ye just kind of sighs for a moment, then sits right down exactly where he is. Rests his hands up, your hands palm up on his knees, and just kind of opens the, not so much opens the door as kicks the door very hard. As it
Giles'
were.
door?
No, no.
the door to
No.
The,
powers that
the
be.
connection
The
to the
door
powers
was-
that be that makes him the Oracle.
I can see him just like lotus position in his hippie van.
I
Yeah.
was very confused for a second. I was like, "Don't be mean. That's
No,
really
he's-
rude."
He does. He wouldn't do that. Besides, I don't think Giles would let him back through the barrier. He just sits down and he's like, "All right, so what do we think about this, guys? And why am I not getting any visions about it? Not that I want visions; they suck. But this definitely seems like something that I should have been looped in about."
You don't hear anything or see anything or feel anything for about 45 seconds.
This has very old, like demon yells at cloud energy. Actually,
Kind of, yeah. Because he's saying this all out loud. He never really mastered
And
that
then
brain to brain stuff.
as if in like kind of a spiteful way,
Oh
you are
no!
suddenly
Not
you are
spiteful from the
suddenly-
powers that be.
you are suddenly inundated with visions of young women being killed or dying or in pain, in suffering, girls not knowing what's going on, having their powers taken away, being confused, being scared. You feel all of that in a rush. And you get the sense that there's a reason the powers that be have not been giving you visions.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a blood from the eyes, ears, and nose sort of rush there. But it's not like Ye didn't know it was going to be risked. And he's going to twitch for a little while. Because that's a whole lot of badness just downloaded directly into his everything.
Ash is going to look at Giles, point to Ye, and then say, "So now that they're killing innocent people, what about that help?"
They still won't tell me. He gets up, looking very creaky and kind of old at the moment.
Yeah,
Or at
May's gonna go over and like help him like wipe his face and stuff. Cause she's been there with the bleeding out of the eyes and every orifice before.
Yeah, they bond on so many levels. It's wonderful. But yeah,
Giles turns to you guys and he says, "I will see what my contacts can dig up. I make no promises. I don't have as many contacts as I used to, and they are all under the radar, understandably. But I will try to get you something."
just a quick question. Did you get a count of how many lives that was?
Roll random dice, add it all together.
About 16.
That's not as many as I thought. But
That's just what they showed you.
Oh, that's just what they showed me. Okay. He's just gonna look over at Giles and be like, "You've earned your peace. I've already said that, but I just felt the terrified, lonely deaths of 16 young women, and that's just what the powers that be were willing to show me. Partly in spite because they don't like it when I do that, but there are a lot more. They all died in terror and alone. So I don't care what it takes. We're gonna stop this. It'd just be nice if you could help whatever way you can. Maybe we can save a few more." And then he's just gonna kind of trundle to the van.
Jack's already sitting in
Giles-
the driver's seat. He's like, "Don't worry about getting home. I'll get us there."
Giles pulls Julian aside and they have a bit of a conversation. And while that's happening, you get a text from Eugenie.
Can Estia go transparent and sneak up on Giles and like the Watcher chat? Can she eavesdrop?
Yeah.
I'm gonna eavesdrop
Um,
after the call. I mean, after the message from Eugenie.
Yeah.
What's the text say?
the text says, "Are you available to meet?"
In like 8 hours.
It's like we're in Massachusetts right now, but we're heading home. It'll probably be midnight before we get back. Are you available tomorrow, or is this like vital?
She responds with, "I'm available whenever."
Okay, well, it's like then meet up at my place. Saturday morning because it's still Friday. So still, yeah, okay. Saturday morning, maybe not super early in the morning. Sorry, we've learned a lot more, but I also just experienced 16 horrible deaths, so I need a nap.
Did you type all of that?
Yes, I do.
Just use his voice, the voice thing.
The
and
voice.
look-
Yeah.
There's
no.
a punctuation.
Oh no, this man takes like types long texts. Like
Yeah, I really do. I'm
He
not one of
really
those
does.
like one sentence per one sentence
No.
sent, one sentence
Me
You're
sent.
getting
too.
a book.
You get a paragraph.
yeah. I cannot tell you how many
Uh,
times I've been in the grocery store staring at my phone, watching the dots, and being like, "I just need a yes or no.
It's never that simple.
I just
Um.
need a yes or no."
Eugenie just says, "Okay." And then there's a second text that says, "I'll be there."
All right. Oh, and Yale, pause and just text. We figured out what's mostly been happening, and he just gives just a quick synopsis that they're targeting potentials, what's being used as the cruciamentum, what it is, and the poison that's being worked with it. Suspicion that it might be another Slayer that's been administering it, or at least is the one that attacked Ash, and to just be very careful right now. And then he's
He
gonna grab a
sends-
bag of beef
no.
jerky.
She responds with like a thumbs up emoji. She's still a little salty.
This is my fault. God, try and do something nice.
She's not like salty at you.
Just salty
Um,
in general. It's Eugenie.
That's fair.
Yeah. um so Estia, you go invisible and you sneak up on the two watchers who are talking, and you hear low whispers, and then as you approach, Giles stops talking, which immediately makes Julian stop talking, and then Giles looks directly at you and says, "Hello there." Can I help you?
Astia just freezes like a kid that was caught on Christmas night before Christmas, trying to peek at the presents. She's got the same look on her face too. And then she'll slowly turn back around and go back toward Yang.
I was
Julian
expecting just like a
follows
glide
soon after.
backwards.
Moonwalk.
Julian follows soon after, and he informs you once you get in the car that he has a way to keep in touch with Giles. So,
They're like a squint Ash.
If none of
Just
his
like-
help like actually pans out, or he doesn't actually try to help anymore, I'm gonna find out where he moves next and send him Christmas cards.
With lighthouses.
he's
Ash has probably been with May, like while the Julian and Giles sidebar happened and jacketing and all that stuff. And Ash will look at May since May stormed out and be like, "You good?"
Did you see how he looked at me?
I did.
How did he look at her?
Simmer down.
Not like that.
How did he look at her?
Ash will look to May and let May explain if she wants to, because this is not about Ash, it's about May. So, or if May kind of signals to Ash that she wants them to explain, but
I think with one look, he kind of confirmed everything I was worried about myself.
Like your powers going out of control? Isn't that what you went to the whatever country you ended up going to for training with your Nana? Did it not help?
I thought they did every time. When he said that about the powers that be having control of things, I started to feel that bubbly burning sensation again, which is I had to leave because I kind of wanted to melt his face off, and I thought that wasn't a good idea. And then I came outside and it still was kind of bubbly, and so that's why I was chewing on ice. I don't feel as bubbly anymore. I think it's weird how they closed that last Hellmouth. They used the power of the sun and a sacrifice of a champion. Meanwhile, I always feel like I'm burning from the inside out.
But that doesn't mean that you would be the sacrifice. Maybe you were meant to have this power and vent most of it to close a hellmouth. And if that's the case, then we'll find a way to do it that doesn't end in another sacrifice.
I think like May is just quiet after
Yeah.
that because in her head, like she's just something is telling her that's not right.
Ash has like silently just kind of like done this with May, like just like like between them on the seat, just like big squeeze, like hand,
Yeah, her hand is
Super
super
hot.
super warm.
Yeah, no, Ash. I mean, Ash is fine.
Yeah.
For them,
What
doesn't
emoji is
matter.
she
They're
getting?
still there.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ye was gonna come in and like do a behind them both hug because there's not really room for Ye on that seat.
Yeah.
Well, look at it
And we're
this way.
both empath touches.
Uh-huh. It's an empath loop again.
Look at it this way. Man, you wouldn't be a sacrifice. You'd be a total like sacrifice.
And scene.
Scene.
Chris is like, drop it. Drop
Done.
it. Okay.
Chris is like, I can't. You're welcome.
A sacrifice.
Man, I would have loved to have seen Chris on Thirsty Seas. That would have been amazing. She'd be so red.
I think Chris and Sarah would just be inconsolable the entire time. Well,
Just
Glory,
both-
Luna, and
just
I.
both out of the screen, just dying, and they come back up just completely red in the face.
Yeah. Well, the three of us just cause chaos.
Anyway,
Anyway.
Isn't-
thank you everybody for joining tonight for this lovely game where I got to be a grumpy old man.
Hey, that's always a good ass time.
Dream of mine.
I just want to sit in the park and feed my pigeons. Anyway, thank you,
nothing's so
Bison.
bad.
Thank you, Gloria. Gloria? What the fuck? Glory. I combined Glory with Estia.
Close to you.
Let's try that again. Thank you, Bison. Thank you, Glory. Thank you, Matt Kyle. Thank you, Luna. Thank you, Mana, for joining me. This has been Grave New World, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TTRPG. Thank
Thank
you,
you, producer Kevin.
Thank,
Thank you,
thank you both
Kevin.
of
Thank you,
you.
Chris.
And your cute little dance you did earlier.
Thank you everyone who was in chat. That was really fun. Thank you people who watch on the VOD and on YouTube. If you liked the video, which you clearly did because you watched till now, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a subscribe because there's always more coming out on this channel. And without further ado, if you have the energy, please be kind. But if you don't, just be nice, man. Be nice. Don't be a
Be
dick.
nice.
Threateningly.
Or May will
I
burn
will-
your house down.
Or else.
Be nice or else. All right. Bye, friends.
Bye.